Hi there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Catherine, and I am the uh, director, founder, founder and director of Lipedema Simplified and Lipedema Project. And I'm here for this morning's Wow, What a Ride. I um, I want to start with this morning for me, which is that yesterday and then this morning, I walked more than I've been able to walk in one stint for probably 6 or 7 years. You know, when you see kids learning to walk and you see them go up and down, and then they can crawl and then they can walk. And I feel like that was another process, learning again to walk. And oh, the resistance. I don't think kids have this kind of resistance. Um, Yesterday, I have a good dear walking buddy who has been a friend for many years and has the patience of a saint. So we used to walk together way before the pandemic and up until the time when my mobility was getting more and more infringed on. He we meet at MIT, which is our favorite walking place. During the winter, we used to be able to go in the tunnels. MIT is built so that there are tunnels between all the buildings, and you can walk for miles through the tunnels. So that used to be our favorite winter walking place. And now, since the pandemic, we can't get into MIT anymore. We used to be able to get in without a problem, but now everyone needs a internal identification. So we're thinking we might take a class there so we can get in again through the winter. But anyway, MIT is right along the Charles River, so we walk around the Charles River. My walking pattern is I walk a bit, then I have to sit to catch my breath, then I walk a bit, and then I have to sit again. So it's pretty much start and stop. But I had over 3,000 steps yesterday. I think I had 3,700, which is amazing, just amazing. A normal person usually does 10,000 a day. So just to keep it in perspective. But there's something about when you can achieve little goals. It's the thing that we say all the time about the work we do with Lipedema Simplified. What are micro goals that you can do day by day to make it better? If someone told me a couple of months ago that I would have the kind of stability in my mobility that I'm now experiencing, I wouldn't have believed it. So I started at the beginning of the year, and then I got COVID. So I started, and I could feel a little bit of progress. I was going to physical therapy as well. And then with COVID, I lost the progress I had made. And then I was so pissed off because I had to start again. And that was the hardest start. But bless another friend of mine. Many of you know Anjay from South Korea, who is one of our meditation teachers. He said, I'll walk with you. So he started to walk with me. Um, and when I say walk with me, we would get on Zoom, and he would, he's in Korea, South Korea. So it would be 7:30 a.m. here, which would be 8:30 p.m. there. And I would walk around the block. That's it, just around the block when I started, which was about 800 or 900 steps. So I walked around the block, and the first time I walked around the block, I was like, and I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do this. And And he would say to me, "Oh, you're doing so good. Oh, you're really, look at, you're getting around the block. You're only needing to rest 3 times." And it really makes a difference having a coach. So we've been doing that. We first set out to do it for 21 days. They say it takes 21 days to have a new habit form. Well, I have to say, I absolutely love it. And it's just one block. And, you know, I'm a high achiever. I'm a type A. It's like I immediately go for goal setting and more is better. And he said, I got to the point where I was like, I could get around the block fairly okay. Not great, but fairly okay. I'm like, all right, why don't we add in another block? And he said, no. He said, one block. All you have to do is one block. That's it. Keep it as one block because we had committed to 21 days. And it was so fascinating. It relieved me of the impulse to do more and more and more and more. So instead, I just eased into it. So I've been doing this now for a couple of months. I had COVID in April, so this sometime in May. So yeah, May, June, now we're in July. So probably close to 2 months. And what a difference. So yesterday, John and I met. Now, John is much more active than I am, younger than me. And he walks to MIT from where he lives, which is an hour walk. So he gets his walk in, and then he's patient and kind and gentle with me. And he'll also say things like, "You're doing really good. You're so much better." Whether it's true or not, I don't give a damn. I know is that having a coach makes a difference. Oh my God, it has been an amazing, amazing process. So I'm gonna I like I said, I am so goal oriented, but I need to, if I can, show you. So this is today. Today, oh no, that's the weekly report. Wait a second. Here's today. So far, 2,207 steps. My goal, I set a goal for myself for 2,500. But here is the week so far. This is last week. So you can see it's a little up and down. I took a day off, and the beginning of the week was much harder because I upped my commitment. And whenever I up my commitment to making it, actually doing the 2000 or as close to 2000 as I could get. And this is not major stuff. I'm telling you, kids go way more than this. But when you have lipedema and lymphedema, and you're recovering from a hip replacement that should have been exercised. I mean, I did Miranda for a long time, but I should have been walking the past couple of years. Having the pandemic was such a good excuse not to do anything. And for someone like me who has so much resistance, but I have to say, I am so happy. This is my month of June. 33,000 steps. Again, as I say, for a normal person, that would not be a lot, but for me, I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating it. Um, so May, June, we'll see what July does. And I am feeling so grateful and so blessed for our lipedema community. It makes all the difference in the world. And so I share all of these journeys with you. And I want to say I'm really excited about this week. And I hope you're going to be able to come and participate with us as well. Thank you for all your comments in the chat. Thank you. Congratulations. Yes, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. A couple of people, congratulations. And then someone wrote, yes, yes. So again, it makes such a difference. So I want to talk about this week because this is going to be an interesting week. I was very susceptible to COVID. So I did not go out of the house for mostly 2 years. I didn't mind it. I made it into a time for me to work. Lipedema grew. We had the tribe. We had all kinds of activities. We wrote a paper. We got a paper published. I did a lot of meditating. I considered it my own private retreat. So it was a very internal time. And then I took a friend for lunch for her birthday. I mean, things were loosening up in March of this year, and I got COVID. Cheesecake Factory. Long story, but I still feel so blessed. I talked through my COVID on my Sunday vlogs, but I feel so blessed that they came out. Pfizer came out with oral medication a few weeks before I got COVID because I'm one of the people that, had I not had the medication, my lungs were felt like I had a vice, like an anvil, but my lungs were just like in knots. I could barely breathe, and the medication is what brought me through it. So I feel blessed. I feel like yet again, a cat with 9 lives. So this week, um, turned into an adventure. Siobhan, who is wonderfully working with us these days, Siobhan Huggins, is going to be presenting to say it's a conference, it's hard to say it's a conference because it's called Keto Fest. It is more of a festival, but it's also, they have a number of speakers. Dr. Eric Westman, Dave Feldman, Amber O'Hearn, Nina Teicholz, who wrote a book called The Big Fat Surprise about fat and how good fat is for us, and Siobhan, who's going to be talking about lipedema. So it's in New London, Connecticut, which is about 2 hours from Boston. And so Siobhan said, why don't you come? And I said, yeah, I could come. So, and Gail, who is our community manager and my fun buddy to work and play with, is in Idaho. So I said to Gail, why don't you come to Boston? So she said, okay. So she's flying into Boston on Wednesday. And then we're driving down to Connecticut on Thursday. And then we're going to have on Thursday a fireside chat. So for all of you, you should have received an email about it. But we're going to have Amber O'Hearn, Siobhan, me, Gail, and Leslyn. Leslyn will be dialing in virtually, but the four of us will be at an Airbnb. So we're all going to get together for a couple of hours, and you're part of the party. So come join us. We're going to be talking about keto. We're going to be talking about carnivore a lot. A number of us have been doing a carnivore experiment. I call it my elimination experiment. Started on May 1st. So I have been mostly carnivore. I say mostly carnivore. I've had a couple of times where I've had what I would call dirty carnivore, which is I got Gail to come up with a way that pickles were an animal. I'll let her tell you that story. So I was craving like crazy. I cannot. I mean, I was craving cauliflower and Brussels sprouts and salad and tomatoes. And it wasn't like I was craving candy or ice cream or cake. I was craving, like, I couldn't believe how strong it was. And for the first time in really 73 years, I think. I mean, I've had periods of eliminating sugar. like no pasta, no bread, no flour, no sugar, reading labels. Um, in the food plan that I was on for many, many, many years, like 27 years, sugar had to be fifth or below on a label. And that meant fructose or maltodextrose or any of the oses, So I spent years and years reading labels, but this is different. This is truly different. This is no lettuce, no romaine lettuce, no arugula lettuce. They call it rocket in Australia. No cucumbers, no celery, no. I mean, it goes on and on and on. It's no vegetables. It is carnivore. And so I have been eating steak. I was a vegetarian, by the way. I just have to put that on. I was a vegetarian, then a pescatarian. Steak and chicken and lots of eggs and fish, a lot of salmon, some white fish, a lot of eggs. And then in the beginning, I had also eliminated cheese, but that was just too much. So I can't, goat milk, cow's milk cheese is too processed in the US. I can eat it in Europe, but not here. But goat cheese, I'm pretty okay with. So I have been having goat cheese. And I make the most amazing pancakes with only protein. It's made with eggs and cream cheese, and that's it, and flavorings. And they're like crepes. So that's been my big treat this past couple of months. So, but it's a interesting journey. It's so fascinating. And I've had a million questions, and we've had Amber come in to our support group, but I'll get lots more information talking to her down in New London. So that's what's coming up this week. And wow, what a ride. I am really looking forward to it. So it starts on Friday, Friday night with a dinner and party. And it's put on by, it has been a podcast. It's called The Two Keto Dudes. I now think there are three of them because there are two dudes and a lady, Carrie, who is wonderful. She's very well known in the keto circles. She's written a number of recipe books. So the three of them are hosting, and they do cooking demos, and they're making pork belly and fried chicken. And I don't know, I saw some other recipes. So it's going to be an interesting time, but mostly it's about us being able to connect with each other. We've been working together. Gail and I have been working together online for several years, and we've never met in person. It's going to be interesting because I'm a little under 5'1" and Gail is 5'9". I have a feeling I'll be looking up to her a lot. And I scheduled, she comes in on Wednesday, so I scheduled a float for us for Wednesday night and said, "Can you do a float?" You guys have heard me talking about floats. So, hi, Marilyn, Mary, Sue, Facebook user, Ann, Mary. It's so good that you're here, you guys. So, it's my time to catch a deep breath. And I thought to myself, I'm walking better. So I'll be down in New London and I'm going to be walking around in New London. And I'm ready. Hi, Sue. I'm ready. I am ready. So, oh, the other thing, I didn't get to tell you this yet. So the thing that I did this morning, so I've been walking around the same block for a couple months now. The one thing that I've learned is what a wonderful neighborhood I live in. I see people, neighbors, it's early in the morning, but the neighbors who are walking their dogs. Well, I live in an area that is in the city, but it's more a little suburbia. It's not suburbia, but it has a lot of trees and a lot of space, and it's there's a bike path, and there's a bike path that starts a couple of blocks from me, and goes out like 8 or 10 towns. It goes for miles and miles and miles. And so wanted to do, um, what I've wanted to do is to go on the bike path. But even getting to the bike path is like a 2-block walk. And remember, I'm like one time around the block. So this morning after yesterday at the river, I felt encouraged. So I said, you know what, this morning I'm going to go to the bike path. So I went, and it was gorgeous. Oh my God, it was just lovely. And they have lots of benches. My criteria for walking, benches. So I pace my walking in between benches in a few minutes of catching my breath. And so I walked on the bike path, and it's going to become one of my favorite journeys. And so I only got, so what they did is they extended the bike path. It used to start right at my, around the corner from me, 2 blocks from me would be the start. Well, it went from here all the way this way. Well, a couple of years ago, from here this way, they extended it. And so that extension, I think, is about a mile. I- I'll I'll um I'll track it the next time when I can do the whole thing. So I'm going to start walking the bike path. It's a step up. I haven't graduated yet, but it's sort of like going from kindergarten to first grade. And oh my God, I just like, I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful. And so I talk about it, and I talk about it publicly so that I don't go back into hiding. I mean, movement is the hardest thing. And I'm going to do a webinar about this sometime in the fall. For some of us who have body issues and weight issues, and the kind of journeys that I've had, and I know many of you have, exercise of any kind is, you need to come into your body. It's like coming into my body is a bitch, because as soon as I start coming into my body, one of the things that begins to resolve is the physical, cellular um, trauma, judgment, critical demons. I mean, it's not an easy process. There's a number of trauma specialists. Bessel van der Kolk is actually here in Boston. Peter Levine, Pat Ogden. There's a number of them who have written some very salient work around how the body holds trauma. So every time I walk, I've had periods where memories start coming up, and I'm like, oh my God. So in the past, I've always stopped. Said, no, no, no. And so I'm committing to a day at a time. I talked to Anjay this morning. We started at 21 days. We're way over 21 days. He said, what do you think? What about through the summer? Like small goals, small steps. Maybe I'll get into second or third grade from kindergarten, from nursery school. And so, um, and um, oh, Mary put up, this is so funny. Two dudes and a lady sounds like a rock group. I think they are. They really rock and roll a lot. I'll let you know, because we will be, Gail and I will be doing this next week together. We will be at 11:30 next Sunday. We will probably be just getting ready to leave New London, Connecticut, or we may be on the road, or we may be back. Who the heck knows? We'll find out. But we will see you with our adventure stories next week. So have a wonderful week. And remember that you can do this. You can do what you need to do for lipedema. You can. And remember, wow, what a ride. Okay, everyone. See you.